Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where you are in this world. God bless you. This is Gloria White coming to you from Utah, USA. Today we are in the book of 2 Corinthians and we are in chapter 10. Now, I, Paul, myself beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am base or lowly among you, but being absent am bold toward you. So when he's away from them, or when he's in their presence, he's lowly, but when he's away, he is boasting and bragging on them. But I beseech you, that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh, or according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, they're not of the flesh, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And what are these strongholds? These are grips the devil has on your life, creating sin. Verse 5, casting down imaginations or arguments, and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Think on Christ always. Don't give room for the devil to stick his thoughts in there. And know the word of God to understand when the devil is speaking and when God is speaking. If you don't know his word, you may be deceived. And Jesus warned us, let no man deceive you. And how are you going to do that? Armor up. And what is our weapon of choice? The word of God, which is our sword. And that's what we fight Satan with, is the word of God. Okay, verse 6. And having in a readiness to revenge or punish all disobedience, when your obedience is fulfilled, when you have overcome, because Christ already overcame this world. It's up to us now to work our way through it. But he will never leave us nor forsake us. He'll always be there to help us. Cry out to him. He is always listening. Verse 7. Do ye look on things after the outward appearance? It's like when God was saying that, the poor man comes into the church in his raggedy clothes, and they put him underneath the seat of some specially dressed, highly esteemed person. Don't look on the outward appearance of someone. When you see someone in rags or dirty clothes, think, what has come upon them that they're in that condition? And what can we do to lift them up? If any man trust to himself that he is Christ, if you believe, or if you are convinced you're Christ, belonging to Christ, CHRIT', belonging to, let him of himself think this again, that as he is Christ, S, even so are we Christ. They also belong to Christ. For though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, which the Lord hath given us for edification, or for building up, and not for your destruction, I should not be ashamed. He's not ashamed of the authority and the boldness that God has given him to preach the gospel, that I may not seem as if I would terrify you by letters. For his letters, say they, are weighty and powerful, but his bodily presence is weak and his speech contemptible. They're saying that, yeah, you write a really good letter, but then you get here and you're this puny looking little guy. Don't judge on the outward appearance. Let such a one think this or that, such as we are in word by letters when we are absent. Such will we be also in deed when we are present. So what we're writing in this letter, you're going to get the same thing when we come to you. For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves. But they, measuring themselves by themselves, and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. But we will not boast of things without measure, or beyond measure, but according to the measure of the rule, or the province which God hath distributed or apportioned to us, a measure to reach even unto you. For we stretch not ourselves beyond our measure, as though we reached not unto you. For we are come as far as to you also in preaching the gospel of Christ, not boasting of things without our measure, that is, of other men's labors, but having hope, when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you according to our rule abundantly. And this is province of accomplishment. To preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to our hand, or province of accomplishment of someone else, and before it should be in our province, according verse 15. But having hope, when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you, according or in our province, to our rule abundantly. Verse 16. To preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not to boast in another man's line of things, or province of accomplishment, made ready to our hand. We're not going to take credit where credit isn't due. But he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. And not he that commendeth himself is approved, but whom the Lord commendeth. The Lord is a judge over all of us, even the apostles. And as always, I love you.